Hello everybody, welcome back to another James's lawnmower repair video. So today this is a Stihl FS45 curve shaft trimmer, and we'll get right into it. This is a carburetor replacement and fuel lines and everything. So yeah, 3 screws at the back that hold the recoil on. Also holds a gas tank on. And here in a second I'll be showing you where the screws are at. Yeah, right here. And then I also give it a pull and make sure it works, because I had just worked on recoils earlier and I was really frustrated with recoils. So I was glad this one functioned proper. Okay, so I was sent this carburetor by Hipa once again. This is one of the 2 trimmers that I bought in a lot one time, and this one was almost brand new, and the other one was kind of crappy. So this one I worked on, got it working for a while. I used it for a long time mowing grass at my place and other people's yards. And finally one day it quit working, and I just had it to the side because I had other ones. So I finally took carburetors off of them a couple months back and was going to work on them, and then never bought parts for them. So now I got this sent to me, and hopefully, foreshadowing here, it worked, but hopefully it'll work, you know? Yeah. So here I was messing with the throttle linkage because I was like, man, that doesn't look like it's the right spot or whatever. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but it just sits in there with a little locator pin. It just sits there, and then once you tighten the carburetor down, it stays on there just fine. Move this right along here. Alright, so in this kit, you got air filter, spark plug, fuel filter, fuel lines, 2 gaskets, one for the both for the intake, primer bulbs, and a carburetor. Yeah. Move all that stuff to the side. For this one, you're going to want, or for this gasket, you're going to want the one with the holes in it. Not just the bolt holes, like the stud holes, the one top and bottom for the pulse signal for the pump and the carburetor from the engine. You'll see the little spot on the carburetor where this throttle linkage hooks up. It has to go in a certain way. You'll be able to see it. Make sure you have that gasket on there. Set that throttle linkage into its locator spot and slide the carburetor on there. Stick the other gasket on there after testing it out. Of course, none of you guys can see any of this, but that gasket doesn't have any holes in it other than the 2. I want to stick that on there, but before I stick that on there, I need to do fuel lines on the fuel tank. So you can apply a light lubricant or something to the grommet or anything. Lubricate it any way you can, get it in there easier. I don't usually lubricate them because I can just manhandle them down into there with a screwdriver. Get that out, just pry around the side and yank it up out. Like, these ones were just super soft and they collapsed. And here, make sure that's all clean. And then the one there, you put the fuel filter onto. Just get it down in there with the screwdriver any way you can. Except for just, a lot of these are solid enough. You don't have to worry about puncturing them, but do be careful because, it's still a soft rubber material. So, just get it pushed down in there and seated. Now, I ended up moving these around a little bit because of where the lines are oriented with the carburetor and everything. I had to twist them around, but, it's not too difficult to twist around once it's in there. Like I said, you just got to figure it out and, figure out as you go. So, here I was just fixing the outer lip of the grommet seal because it was a little rolled over on the side. Here I was checking which port was which. So the bottom port is the suction port and the top one is the return line. Of course my arm is in the way because I was just trying to turn those around again. Alright, got them turned around. It was a bit of a struggle there, but got them turned around there. Now we're ready to put the recoil cover back on and sandwich the tank back in there. Make sure you have that little rubber isolator in there. Turn that, just sit it up against the cover. Hold that as one assembly and stick it onto the rest of the trimmer. Put those 3 screws back in. As I've talked about before, Hipa has many parts available on their website. They also sell things on Amazon. Their Amazon store is full of everything that's on their website and more. So check them out. They have carburetors for anything from chainsaws to weeders, riding mowers, like anything outdoor lawn equipment wise, they have it. So check it out. The next thing I'm going to probably be buying is possibly one of the dual fuel carburetor kits for a generator, because I'm interested in seeing how that goes. Make sure those fuel lines are hooked up proper. Obviously the longer one goes to the top port because it's the furthest away. Make sure that gasket's on there. Stick that cover back on there. Put the 2 8mm nuts back on there. Make sure you snug them down decently. These things do vibrate quite a bit. So, you don't want them to come loose, but you don't want it to be so tight that it strips something out or, warps the plastic or breaks it or anything, Don't go crazy on it, just get it tight. And then once those are tight, you're going to want to put the air filter in, and that will be it after you put the cover on, or before you put the cover on. So that's pretty much all of it that there is to do. I love watching myself struggle on video. So the left nut on the Stihl FS45s, 38s, or I guess I gotta go up in order here. 38s, 45s, 46s, 55s, 55Rs, anything of this engine style with the tank and carburetor like this style, this setup. The left nut on the carburetor setup is super hard to get in there and super hard to get out. So you're going to want either a deep well socket, which is just a longer socket, or just you really have to stuff the socket into there because the plastic is so close to it. So you either need like a deep well socket or a thin walled socket of some kind to get in there easy. But usually you just have to force it because like it's plastic and it moves. So, you know, you can figure it out. It's not too difficult once you see it for yourself. So then here, the air filter's in there. And I must mention the quality of the air filter. It does feel good. It feels exactly the same as a genuine filter. So, kudos there. Now we have the spark plug. Now, usually I don't like putting spark plugs of random brands in these because this doesn't say Hipa on it. It says SAP, but I did start this after this video, and I have to say it did run really well after a little bit of adjustment on the carburetor. And it still works today, 3 days later after making this video. So, I would say the spark plug that is in this kit is fine. I usually recommend, even though Hipa is a great, like, they have great kits and stuff, I would usually recommend a good NGK or Champion spark plug. But for the money that these kits are, you might as well just put the spark plug out of the kit in there because it's just so affordable. Alright everybody, that was the carburetor replacement on this Stihl FS45. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all later.